Welcome to the Big D Breakdown. I'm your host, Larry Leese. Today we're diving into the latest news from around AT&T Stadium. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Game Time, for sponsoring this episode. Are you looking for the best tickets for all sporting events? Dallas Cowboys, Texas Rangers, Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks? For the best tickets, best customer service, and best experience? Go check out Game Time. Link will be in the description. And of course, we'd also like to thank our sponsor, Poddex, for sponsoring this episode. Check them out today at poddex.com. Use the promo code Hilaria21 for 10% off your order. So to begin with, we dive into 4 unsigned free agents that Cowboys can still get. Believe it or not, with less than a month to go until training camp, there are still some free agents left without contracts. Since February, Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones has been asking fans and reporters to be patient. Jones said the team will still have plenty of action in free agency before the 2022 NFL Draft happened. 2 months later, not a single free agent addition has been made. If the Cowboys front office wants to keep good on their words, there are still some veteran players out there who could help fill some positional gaps on this roster. It's worth noting that we understand that names like Odell Beckham Jr. are still available, while these multi-time Pro Bowlers and Super Bowl winners are amazing athletes. The reality is the Cowboys aren't going to be willing to pay for OBJ and Ndamukong Suh. Apologies for saying his name wrong. I used to be able to say it right. I can never say it anymore. That's why you don't see him on this list. We tried to pick out players who could actually make meaningful impacts on Cowboys roster at this time. So let's get into it. Number 4, Dwayne Brown, offensive tackle, Seattle Seahawks. When the NFL first released their top 101 free agents available list back in February, Dwayne Brown was ranked at number 14 best available player amongst all position groups. It's pretty impressive in an offseason where guys like Von Miller, Marcus Williams were all free agents. The good news for Dallas is that at 37 years old, Brown simply isn't worth top-tier money anymore. So if the Joneses want to get a solid veteran presence to boost an offensive line with a lot of question marks for an affordable price, this is a solid option. The Seahawk was a former first-round pick in 2008. He spent 10 years in Houston before being traded to Seattle, where he has consistently been on one of the best left tackles in the NFL. He earned a 71.5 grade from PFF at 37 years old this season. Brown has 14 years of NFL experience, and he could come in and mentor young guys like Tyler Smith, alongside long-timers like Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. He is also a 5-time Pro Bowler and has an All-Pro nod as well. Smith is currently the starting left tackle, but with his injury in past, having Brown on the roster is wise. And number 3, Trey Flowers, defensive end, formerly the Detroit Lions. Flowers is a 2-time Super Bowl champion who has several years of NFL experience. With Randy Gregory no longer in the Dallas defense, the Cowboys have yet to figure out a certified starter to line up opposite DeMarcus Lawrence. They have Dante Fowler Jr., but he hasn't had a great NFL season in a couple of years. The other options are a rookie and a young defensive end with minimal experience. Adding Flowers for depth and leadership could be a smart move for Dallas. Injuries have been an issue for the defensive end lately, but he is still someone who can come in and provide help on snaps. Before his injuries, he had at least 6.5 sacks, 8 tackles for 4 losses in 4 straight seasons. He also had more than 20 quarterback hits in 3. With the right fit and a clean bill of health, Flowers can certainly still provide assistance to any defense. Again, the good news for Dallas is that his injury history is likely going to lower his price tag. The Cowboys can get him on an affordable 1-year prove-it-all deal. And number 2, J.C. Tretter, former Cleveland Browns. Finding an above-average, reliable, and durable center in this league, is not easy. The Cowboys know that's all too well, with several rookies expected to make an impact in this offensive line, bringing in some veteran talent to either give Tyler B a run for his money or just outright replace him is not a bad choice. The Dallas offensive line cannot afford to have any more positional question marks. Shredder has 8 years of NFL experience and has started in 16 games in every one of his last 5 seasons with the Browns. On a team that desperately needs to keep its quarterback upright, Shredder's expertise should be a welcome addition. Cleveland releasing Shredder had more to do with financial issues than his level of play. His 78.7 PFF grade was the 5th highest amongst the entire Browns roster. The center also allowed just one sack on over 1,000 snaps. The Cowboys don't trust Tyler. They need to find someone they can trust. And finally, at number 1, Anthony Barr, linebacker from Minnesota Vikings. The Cowboys linebacker core has potential, but is lacking some serious depth. Aside from standout Micah Parsons, you're looking at a constantly injured Leighton Vander Esch and a young defender in Jabril Cox, who's coming off a major injury in 2021. Beyond that, Devontae Bond just suffered a season-ending injury, and Damon Clark may not play at all in 2022. Depth is needed before it's too late. That's where Anthony Barr could come in. ESPN insiders even recommend the Cowboys picking up the Vikings linebacker many months ago, but no action has been taken. The 8-year veteran could certainly add some dimension to this team. The linebacker is a 4-time Pro Bowler in 98 games with Minnesota. He has 5 interceptions, 17.5 sacks, 44 quarterback hits, 8 forced fumbles, and 495 tackles. Although he is 30 years old and did sit out some games due to injury last season, Barr likely still has many more tackles and sacks left in him. Having another player who can be both a traditional linebacker and terrific pass rusher is worth the money the Cowboys have saved over the past few months. Let us know in the comments section below. Did we miss anybody? Is there anybody that you believe they should pick up that's a free agent? Let us know in the comments section or on Twitter at Big D Breakdown. And now on to our next topic. CeeDee Lamb and how he revealed how he found out about his promotion and Amari Cooper's exit. Longtime sports writer and NFL analyst Mike Silver has a new show on Colin Cowherd's network of podcasts. One of his first guests was none other than the Cowboys' new wide receiver 1, CeeDee Lamb. The 30-minute interview goes through a lot of pressing questions being asked of Lamb right now. What are his expectations? What happened in the wild card game? Who does he look up to in the game? Is he ready to be a wide receiver 1? The ironic thing is that this massive role change came as a surprise to the young receiver. The Oklahoma product found out the main member of the Cowboys wide receiver trio was heading to Cleveland while working out. Lamb said, quote, "I was actually in a gym. I saw it on TV. I was working out in Fort Lauderdale in my off-season program. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And my phone started blowing up minutes after." Well, that's one way to find out about a massive promotion. Lamb also told Silver that he greatly appreciated being able to learn from Cooper. That's why the Cowboys' young receiver reached out to his former teammate as soon as he heard about the trade. With the former star receiver out, his teammate Michael Gallup out for at least a few games at the start of the year, 2 newcomers vying for a spot in the starting trio, there's a lot of pressure on the 23-year-old's shoulders. In just his 3rd NFL season, he will see a massive increase in targets and snaps due to injuries alone. He even told Silver that he expects teams to start to double team him in coverage next season. That too would be a compliment that that shows how much of a threat he is downfield. Instead of shying away from the pressure, Lamb seems ready to take on a new level of play. Coming off a Pro Bowl level year 2, Lamb has obviously shown he can be a top NFL receiver. His teammates believe in his ability too, but we won't know anything for sure until we see him on the field. Will the pressure of replacing his former teammate be too much? Will the young Cowboys wide receiver prove he's worthy of a top spot? Let us know in the comments section below. Do you think he's ready to step up and be a leader? And before we move on, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and the bell notification button to be notified of future videos. And check us out on Good Pods and leave us a review. And now on to our next topic, 3 reasons re-signing Gallup was a good move. The Dallas Cowboys aren't often guilty of the smartest moves out there. However, when it comes to what they were able to get done with Michael Gallup this year, it was nearly brilliant. Some out there are thinking this right now. How is it brilliant to pay a guy that is injured now? It might be a bit injury prone. That's a fair thought. Honestly, it is. However, when he's healthy, Gallup is one of the most dynamic downfall threats that the game has to offer. He's one of the most tenacious battles for the ball when it's in the air. He's also proved just how tough he is, catching balls for touchdowns, while simultaneously coming up so hobbled that he would have to miss major time. That's exactly what happened when he tore his ACL last season against the Cardinals. The talent is there. It's hard to deny. This isn't about his talent, though. Well, not just about his talent. There are several more reasons why his deal was a smart one for Dallas. Let's take a look at the first one, shall we? Number 1, the chemistry. When you think about the chemistry of it all, especially after the team traded Amari Cooper to the Browns, the Cowboys had to keep one of the receivers there that has grown up with Dak Prescott. With CeeDee Lamb and Cooper needing a lot of the same areas on the field to be their best selves, though Lamb operated from the inside and Cooper from the outside, Gallup gives them that over-the-top threat to keep defenses honest, while also having a layered approach to the passing attack. For example, a back and tight ends will take a lot of the short, underneath, or at the line of scrimmage stuff, while Lamb is a guy that will truly excel in the short to intermediate areas, doing a ton of his work after the catch. As far as Gallup goes, he has been one that excels the most after he gets 10 yards or more down the field in his routes. His 4.4 second speed is also more apparent and effective in a straight line manner, allowing him to accelerate and separate from defenders after going up to make a tougher grab. Despite all of his unique skills, there are several other important reasons Gallup deserves to be on the roster. The main reason is the money. For the Joneses, it's always about the money. So number 2, the money. When you look at the money that Gallup got from Dallas on the service, it appears to be your standard $57 million deal for a receiver. It breaks down to an average value of $11.5 million a year. Looking at where that comes in compared to the rest of the league, that puts Gallup in a tie for the 25th highest salary among wideouts, tied with Curtis Samuel of the Washington Commanders. While there are certainly receivers above Gallup on this list who deserve more money than he is making, some of the names on this list don't. You got Brandon Cooks, Kenny Golladay, Christian Kirk, Hunter Renfrow, Cortland Sutton, Robbie Anderson, Corey Davis are all receivers with a higher salary than Gallup this year. None of them are flat out better than Gallup is at his peak. Arguably, Gallup is better than more than a couple of them. They got top-end type talent from middle of market price. Playing behind Coop and with Lamb over the last season or so, Gallup has been the third wheel of sorts. This season, he'll be second at worst, and number 1, depending on the game plan. That's a decently small salary for a number 1 or number 2 receiver. And finally, number 3, just ready for more. The potential that's there. Gallup has already produced at a high enough level to earn a contract extension. The exciting thing is that he still has room to grow, simply based on how much more opportunities he will get with Cooper being gone, I should say. If the 26-year-old can live up to his potential, the Cowboys will have secured him at a discount compared to his top-end production. Projects could be based on the share of potential targets. For reference, the guy had an 1,100-yard season in 2019 across 14 games and just 12 starts. A near 1,000-yard season the following year, and looked to be on his way to breaking that barrier again last season before the injury. Again, this all happened while not being a top option for the Cowboys. This last reason is the best of all, though. Let's say that everything else discounted here is baloney come the start of the season. Let's say we've seen the best of Gallup. He can never return to top former. Or he just can't excel as a top option, needing the cover of being secondary to stand out. That's totally fine, and here's why. His deal is front-loaded. All the guarantees happen before this season and next season. The Cowboys can come from up and under the deal almost penalty-free if they choose after next year. It's an ideal situation. So this was a smart move by the Cowboys because they secured a guy that's been really good for them so far in minimal opportunity. They did so at a rate that doesn't kill them now, nor in the future if he plays to the peak of his ability. If he does, which the belief should be that he will once healthy, his salary might end up being a bargain based on his output. And to top it all off, if none of that happens, they paid a standard going rate for a top receiver just to find out. It's the perfect scenario. Everyone is taken care of. Nobody is burdened with more than they can handle if things don't go right. Michael Gallup got life-changing money. The Cowboys got a guy that at worst is 75% as good as Amari Cooper for about half of the price that they were paying him. I guess a broken clock is right at least twice a day. So we want to ask you guys, do you think re-signing Gallup was a good move by Dallas, or should we not re-sign them? Let us know. And now on to training camp battles for the Dallas Cowboys and what they mean for the team's 2022 depth. The Dallas Cowboys offseason will be coming to a close in a month as the league announced their start dates for training camp on Thursday. For this year's Cowboys team, real football activity began on July 26 as rookies and veterans report to camp. The Cowboys are eager to prove they can do something they haven't done since the 90s dynasty years. That is, repeat as NFC East champions, despite some major changes on the roster. With those moves come opportunities for young players to step up, something the Cowboys have always rewarded as one of the most draft-dependent teams in the entire league. We're going to take a deeper look at the paths those players face to grab playing time or even make the roster of the 2022 team. We're going to start with wide receiver Jalen Tolbert. It's hard to change the outlook for any position during OTA practices without pads, but the Cowboys were unable to move the needle at their receiver position this month. Rookie Jalen Tolbert and free agent sign James Washington are hardly a part of the practices, putting a hold on valuable reps they need in Kellen Moore's offense. This has only slightly put the brakes on the hype for Tolbert. Third-round rookie, they came in with immediate expectations. When Tolbert did see the field with Dak Prescott during OTAs, the two began building their route chemistry, and special team coordinators John Fassel also put the South Alabama product to work on punt returns. The learning curve for Tolbert will be steep, as the Cowboys need a receiver to fill in for Michael Gallup at the start of the season, as well as a more long-term need in the slot. Tolbert's skill set may be the best as an outside receiver, but his long speed and fearlessness going over the middle make him an intriguing slot option as well. Then we have defensive end Sam Williams. It may feel like a lifetime ago when Cowboys fans were celebrating the news that Dan Quinn would return defensive coordinator. But that move still holds up as one of the biggest reasons this team may find success again in 2022. Quinn has yet another draft class to add to a defense with young stars like Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, with Sam Williams being his first choice in the second round this April. Williams could help ease the loss of Randy Gregory to the Broncos, but the Cowboys also have Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler Jr. carved out for this role. DeMarcus Lawrence rarely comes off the field at left end, another position Williams could be used for, or could be used at, I should say. All this depth ahead of Williams make his path to playing time a battle. Excuse me. Practice time for unproven players that need it the most is what gets noticed, and Williams, being a personal favorite prospect of Quinn, already means he'll have plenty of teachable moments. What Williams does with them to carve out a role when he sees the field as a rookie could determine just how much the Cowboys increase their pass rush, with secondary play being harder to translate from year to year than a strong pass rush. Next up, defensive tackle Neville Gallimore. Sticking with the defensive line, Gallimore is a bit of a known commodity, but injuries have held him back from realizing his full potential in Dallas. Gallimore reportedly added weight this offseason in an effort to hold up better at the point of attack, playing the all-important three-technique spot in Quinn's scheme. Protecting the front of the pocket is a priority for any offense, with the Cowboys being no exception after using the 24th overall pick on Tyler Smith. A player that can disrupt from the interior is a valuable asset, and at his best, that's what the Cowboys have in Gallimore. For as much as the Cowboys will be relying on youth and experience, there's still plenty of veterans that haven't consistently played at their ceiling yet on this roster. Next up, wide receiver Ty Freifogel. Sticking with Indiana undrafted free agent on the Cowboys offense, Ty Freifogel has a similar opportunity to Hendershot in lining up at a position of need for Dallas. Tolbert and Washington may be getting the first crack at being the next receivers to start alongside CeeDee Lamb. But Cowboys training camp always features a heavy dose of one-on-one receiver defensive back drills. Freifogel is the type of player that can thrive here, changing directions well and snagging catches away from his body, even when defenders stick to him. If he does everything right, Freifogel's ceiling could be to push second-year receiver Simi Foko for a role in the slot. At worst, a solid showing from Freifogel could make him an important enough depth option to get stashed on the practical squad. And now we have SAF Tyler Coyle. With the Cowboys having more starting jobs than usual up for grabs at training camp, bodes well for depth players trying to come in behind these starters and make an impact. Mike McCarthy has always noted the importance of having great depth on a championship team, and the Cowboys certainly aren't there yet. They'll need depth to come from last year's draft class as well as their current one, and players that have some experience already should prove to have the edge. Tyler Coyle appeared in one game as a special teams player in the Week 18 game with the Eagles on defense last year. The undrafted free agent out of Purdue, who transferred there after playing most of his college career at UConn, isn't challenging Jaron Kearse, Malik Hooker, or Donovan Wilson for starting snaps. Instead, Coyle has to look up at only Israel Kamu and fellow undrafted free agent Marquez Bell. Coyle is a natural mover that can cover a deep half of the field with good athleticism and ability to play the ball in the air. The Cowboys like the veteran presence they have at safety, but are only one injured away from relying on a player like Coyle to see more snaps than anyone is currently expecting right now. Please hit that thumbs up button if you like our video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button to be notified of future videos. And please check us out on Good Pods, leave us a review. And as always, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thebigd. Your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, create new shows, bring in new hosts, pay them, and pay our writers. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.